with other people's fears when it technique.
Yeah. It's not just fear, like sometimes everybody gets angry, there's a crowd, and this anger spreads, or anger and fear are probably, or anxiety, those things. That means our center not strong. So we get affected by others. So very important, make our center strong. So Seung Sunim often would talk about clear mind and strong center. Even we see the correct way, if our center's not strong, can't do it. If our center's strong, but don't see the correct way, then strongly go the wrong way. But what you're talking about is we getting affected by others is not strong center. Yeah. For example, Seung Sunim once talked about 4 kinds of anger. When I first came to the Zen Center, I didn't know where anger fit in spirituality. I assumed if you really attain some spirituality, never anger. So it was helpful to hear his talk on 4 kinds of anger. He said, first, there's attached anger. I want something and I can't get it, or I have something that I want, somebody takes it away, or I get something I don't want, then we get angry. That's the same as any animal. They also react like that. That's attached anger. The second kind of anger is reflected anger. I'm not angry, but somebody angered to me, then soon I'm angry. Happens all the time in America. And people have guns, so people shoot each other. Animals, that's also an animal mind. Do you ever have a dog and go walking with the dog, and the dog's having a great time, and suddenly as you pass some house, another dog runs up to the fence barking crazy. Many times this dog will also get angry. I had a big Belgian Shepherd one time, like a German Shepherd, but longer, fur. He might have weighed even close to 50 kilo. He was big. He was such a sweet dog. One time I saw a dog attack him, and wow, my dog can fight. I never saw him fight. He never started a fight. We also had a little dog that was a little cuckoo, and he was so patient with that dog, the little one. He'd bend down so the little one could go face to face and kind of run around and things like that. But boy, when he got attacked, he was right there defending himself. So he had no reason to get angry, but somebody get angry at him. So that happens a lot to us. You see it sometimes in cars. Some months ago, I was downtown in Omsa at the main intersection, and I was waiting to cross the street. And across the street, one guy started to walk across. And he had the right of way. And then this other car turned, and the car stopped, but he stopped right inches away from this guy. And then the 2 guys glared at each other, and then when they were satisfied with their glaring, they went their ways, I always say in Korea, it's really good people don't have guns because Korean people were emotional. There they would have shot each other with guns and then, oh no, what did I do? But that's reflected anger, That happens to us in the temple sometimes, Third kind, Seung Sunim called perceived anger. That's when we're aware of our body and our emotions, and we can perceive that we're starting to get angry. Koreans call anger energy up. Your energy comes up and angry because we have some idea, some opinion, and the situation doesn't match my opinion. And we're checking. That's where anger comes from. So this is a little high class. You perceive the anger starting to come up, but it hasn't appeared on the outside, hasn't appeared in your face or your speech or your action. Then you a little bit put it down. That's high class. That's a little high class. But there's problems with that. Because if you put it down, let it go, it's fine. But if you just push it down, then one day maybe explode. That's when you see people, particularly happens in America, but sometimes other places, they'll show up at a place where they used to work with a gun and shoot a whole lot of people. And they'll say, oh, that guy was weird, but he was very quiet. He's pushing down his anger. The other thing that can happen when you push down your anger is, I think Koreans call it hwabyong. Hwabyong. You get sick from your own anger. You get ulcers or heart attack, because you're holding this energy. So those are both problems. So perceived anger is a little high class, but if you can't just let it go, then problems appear. Then there's what Seung called big love anger. And he said, perceived anger, angry inside but not outside. Perceived anger is angry outside but not inside. Only the situation needs some kind of strong speech or something to help the situation, but inside not angry. Now sometimes we think, oh, I have big love anger, but we're still angry inside. That's a big problem. He said, this is like a very good mother's mind. Maybe the mother's, working in the kitchen, cutting vegetables or something, and she's got a gas stove. We have a gas stove, right? And there's a flame, and the kid, maybe 3 years old, is interested in the flame and wants to touch it. And the mother's like, don't touch that, it's hot. And then she's working, and the kid comes up again, wants to touch it. No, don't do that, it's hot. Then he does it again. And then the mom, you're going to burn your hand. Mommy doesn't want you to burn your hand. That's pain. Then he does it again. No! Then the kid fall down, cry. And the mom picks him up and, pats him. Because inside she's not angry, just something strong. And okay, that's wonderful, theoretical. But I saw Seung Sunim do that a number of times. And with me even. But sometimes I was just the witness of it rather than the one who it was aimed at. And I tell this before too. People used to call him on the phone because he traveled. We didn't have hand phones. We didn't have the internet. So they'd write him letters, or if they knew where he was, call him on the phone. And before he had too many students, and before he was sick, you could call him. And if you were clear on the phone, you'd get a clear answer. And one time I was with him and somebody calls and it's obvious a Zen student. Seung Sunim's saying, oh, hello. Then, after a little bit, oh, problem? What kind of problem? And the person obviously was explaining. And Seung Sunim said, no, that kind of thinking's no good. But I guess the person kept coming. He said, no good, that's no good. Put it down. And the person, more and more, Seung Sunim said, put it down. And then more and more, and Seung Sunim, he turned red. And some Korean long underwears cut sort of like this, So I could see his chest got red, his neck, his face, his whole head got red, and he shouted into the phone, I said, put it down! And he slammed the phone down. I've seen him do that a bunch of times. And then he turned to me, and really, it was like a second, colors all normal, and very relaxed. He said, he's strong holding something, so I strong energy into it. So with him, it wasn't just theoretical. He could do it. I think I did it once in my life, some monk who was a little excessive. He's not around now, But he calls me up and he's screaming into the phone about some other monk. I was outside at Wage, so I was like, and I knew him well. So finally I screamed back into the phone and he immediately calmed down. And, he has a lot of pride. So I say, you're like somebody who hits people with a baseball bat. But I think if you keep practicing, one day you'll be more like a surgeon's knife and you'll cut people's heads off and they won't know their head's been cut off till it hits the ground. And then he was all friendly because I praised him. But the only way to get him down was give the same energy back. I wasn't angry. I just thought, okay, I come from Philadelphia, man. I have a good time shouting. Didn't bother me. So, fear. Yeah, you already understand why people are afraid. Your center's not strong. So it's important to make our center strong. Then even everybody's a mess. You can keep a clear mind and a strong center. I'm sure, I imagine there were some people in that Itaewon and at Halloween who just happened to be in a lucky place near a wall where people reached down and could pull you up, and little bit they kept their sanity and they got pulled up out of that crowd where so many people died. Those things happen. If we have a strong center, we can keep clear. So what's the best way to make a strong center? Tanjeon breathing. And bowing. Decide to do something and do it. Even you don't feel good or anything, then you believe in yourself. And the other way is investigate yourself. But the main reason we pick up get affected by other people's energy is our center's not strong. Yeah. So important to make your center strong. Then somebody bothers you. Oh, wonderful. Sorry. We got to do it ourselves.